The massive ship appeared on a quiet Tuesday morning. It emerged from behind the moon, its dark metal surface reflecting Earth's sunlight like a second sun in the sky. Within hours, every telescope on Earth pointed toward it, and every news channel showed the same image: humanity's first contact with alien life. Commander Marcus Stone stood at attention in the United Nations Emergency Chamber, his military uniform pressed perfectly despite the chaos of the last 24 hours. As Earth's top space fleet commander, he would lead the first meeting with these visitors. His hands were steady, but sweat ran down his back. "They're sending another message," announced the young communications officer beside him. "They call themselves the Dominion. They say they come to help us advance." Marcus didn't believe that for a second. 20 years in Space Command had taught him one thing: nobody travels across galaxies just to help. They want something. The Dominion ship landed in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, floating like a giant metal island. It was bigger than any human-made structure, stretching 3 miles from end to end. 5 smaller ships emerged from its sides, heading toward the 5 major continents. The meeting was set for neutral waters. Marcus led a team of Earth's best, scientists, diplomats, and soldiers, on a naval carrier toward the alien ship. Through the binoculars, he could see the strange, smooth surface of the alien vessel. It looked like liquid metal frozen in time. The aliens emerged from their ship in what looked like floating platforms. Their bodies were tall and thin, covered in something that looked like shifting metal armor. Their heads were long, with 4 eyes placed in a diamond pattern. The leader, marked by golden streaks in its armor, stepped forward. "We welcome you, humans." It spoke in perfect English, its voice coming from somewhere inside its armor. "We are the Dominion, rulers of 1,000 worlds. We have watched your species grow. Now we come to lift you from your primitive state." Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. There was something wrong in the way the alien spoke, like a farmer talking about livestock. The alien leader raised its hand, holding what looked like a small crystal. "Accept our gift of advancement," it said. The crystal began to glow. Suddenly, every human on the carrier felt a sharp pain in their heads. Marcus grabbed the railing as his vision blurred. The aliens were trying to do something to their minds. He could feel it, like fingers trying to grab his thoughts. But something unexpected happened. The crystal in the alien's hand began to crack. A high-pitched whine filled the air. The alien leader stumbled backward, its 4 eyes widening in what looked like pain or shock. "Impossible," it hissed. "Your neural patterns, they're resistant." Marcus's head cleared. Around him, his team was recovering too. But the aliens, they were the ones in pain now. Their technology, whatever it was supposed to do, had backfired. "We will not be controlled," Marcus said, his voice strong and clear. "Whatever you planned, it won't work here." The alien leader made a sound like breaking glass, maybe their version of anger or frustration. "You don't understand. You cannot resist. We are the Dominion. We have controlled 1,000 species. Then we'll be the first to say no," Marcus replied. The aliens retreated to their ship quickly after that. As they left, Marcus could see more crystals breaking on their armor. Whatever they had tried to do to human minds had failed completely. But Marcus knew this wasn't over. He watched the alien ships rise into the sky, his jaw set firm. Humanity had just passed its first test against alien invaders, but he could feel it in his bones. This was just the beginning. The Dominion had tried to enslave humanity with their first hello. Now they would learn why that was a terrible mistake. Humanity had spent its entire history fighting against those who would control them. These aliens would learn that lesson too, no matter how advanced they thought they were. As Marcus headed back to base, he was already planning. The Dominion would return, and Earth needed to be ready. They had revealed their hand too early, shown their true intentions too soon. Now humanity would show them why that was their biggest mistake. 3 weeks after the failed Dominion attack, Dr. Alice Reed stared at her computer screen in amazement. The lad was quiet at this late hour, but her mind was racing with possibilities. She had been studying the broken crystal recovered from the battle site, and what she found changed everything. It's not just that we're resistant, she whispered to herself. Our brains actually push back. The door opened, and Commander Marcus Stone walked in. He looked tired, but his eyes were sharp. Tell me you found something useful, Doctor. Alice pulled up the brain scans on the big screen. Look at these patterns, she said, pointing to the swirling colors. When the Dominion tried to control our minds, our brains didn't just block them. They sent a feedback pulse that destroyed their technology. Marcus leaned closer to the screen. Can we use this? Better. Alice smiled. We can make it stronger. But they weren't the only ones making plans. Above Earth's atmosphere, hidden behind the dark side of the moon, the Dominion was preparing their next move. The alien commander's voice echoed through Earth's television and radio channels the next day. Humans of Earth, we come as friends. The violence at our first meeting was a mistake. We offer you advancement, technology, and peace. In his underground base, James Walker, a former Army captain, watched the broadcast with his team of resistance fighters. They had found this old military bunker and turned it into their headquarters after the first attack. They think we're stupid, he said, looking at the gathered soldiers and civilians. They failed to control us, so now they try to trick us. One of his team members wheeled in something covered by a large cloth. Captain, we got it working. James pulled off the cloth, revealing the torn pieces of a Dominion ship's control panel. They had been collecting every piece of alien technology they could find since the first attack. If they want war, he said, we'll give them one they won't forget. Back in her lab, Dr. Reed made a breakthrough. She found a way to copy the natural resistance in human brains and make it stronger. Commander, she called Marcus, we can turn their weapon against them. Marcus arrived quickly. Alice showed him a small device she had built. This amplifies our natural brain patterns, she explained. When they try to control us again, the feedback will be 10 times stronger. But the Dominion was already moving. Their ships appeared over major cities, broadcasting messages of peace and prosperity. Some people started to believe them. The aliens offered medical cures, clean energy, and advanced technology. It's all lies, James told his growing resistance group. Look at this. He showed them pictures from his team's scouting mission. The images revealed hidden weapons in the Dominion's peace ships. The truth came out 3 days later. The Dominion tried to use their control devices again, this time on a larger scale. But humanity was ready. When the aliens activated their crystals, Dr. Reed's devices turned on across the globe. The feedback was massive. Dominion ships fell from the sky as their control systems overloaded. Their weapons shut down, and their armor cracked. In his command center, Marcus watched the alien ships retreat. Send the message, he ordered. Every working screen on Earth showed the same words. We are humanity. We will not be controlled. This is your only warning. The Dominion's response came fast. Their largest ship moved into view, bigger than any they had shown before. Their message was simple. Then you leave us no choice. James looked at his team, now armed with reversed-engineered alien weapons. Dr. Reed checked her improved defense systems. Marcus prepared Earth's combined military forces. The real war was about to begin. But this time, humanity wasn't defenseless. This time, they were ready to show the Dominion why trying to enslave Earth was the biggest mistake in their empire's history. The Dominion's massive ship hung in the sky like a dark cloud, stretching from horizon to horizon. Smaller ships poured from its sides like angry wasps from a nest. This time, they weren't pretending to be friendly. In her underground lab, Dr. Reed worked faster than she ever had before. The neural network is spreading, she told Commander Marcus through her secure line. When they try to control us this time, something unexpected will happen. The Dominion's attack began at dawn. They dropped millions of small crystals from their ships. The crystals fell like glittering rain over every major city on Earth. As they fell, they began to glow. Everyone, activate your defense devices now. Marcus's voice boomed through emergency channels worldwide. The crystals pulsed with alien energy, trying to take control of human minds. But this time, something different happened. Instead of just blocking the control, human brains started connecting to each other. People in New York could suddenly feel the thoughts of those in London. Workers in Tokyo shared memories with farmers in Brazil. The entire human race became linked in one massive neural network. James Walker felt it from his resistance base. "This is impossible," he whispered, feeling millions of minds touching his own. But then he smiled. "This is exactly what we needed." The Dominion hadn't expected this. Their control crystals, meant to enslave humanity, had instead given humans a way to fight back together. Millions of minds worked as one, sharing information, strategies, and strength. Through this accidental network, Dr. Reed's voice reached everyone. "We can use their own ships against them. Focus your thoughts on their control systems." The combined mental power of billions of humans struck the Dominion fleet like a tidal wave. Ships began falling from the sky as their systems overloaded. The aliens' own technology, designed to control minds, became their weakness. In the chaos, James and his resistance fighters made their move. Using their reversed-engineered weapons, they attacked the grounded Dominion ships. The aliens never expected humans to understand their technology so quickly. "Their shields are failing," James shouted as another alien ship crashed. "Push harder." The neural network grew stronger. Humans learned to use it better with each passing minute. They could see through each other's eyes, coordinate attacks across continents, and share battle strategies instantly. The Dominion's main ship tried to retreat, but it was too late. The combined mental force of humanity had locked onto their systems. Lights flickered across its massive hull as human thoughts invaded its computers. Marcus watched from his command center as the giant ship's engines died. "Send them the message," he ordered. "Let them know exactly who they're dealing with." Through the neural network, every human on Earth spoke as one. "We are not your slaves. We are your worst nightmare." The Dominion's response came in the form of panic. Their remaining ships tried to flee, but the neural network tracked each one. None escaped Earth's atmosphere. As the dust settled, humanity realized what they had gained. The neural network began to fade, but it left behind something important: unity. People across the world had shared thoughts, feelings, and memories. They understood each other better than ever before. Dr. Reed examined the captured Dominion technology with excitement. "Their biggest mistake," she told Marcus, "was thinking we would break. Instead, they made us stronger." In their damaged ships, the captured Dominion soldiers watched in fear as humans began studying their technology. One alien turned to another and spoke quietly. "What have we awakened?" The human race had won its first major battle. But more importantly, they had gained something the Dominion never expected: a way to unite the entire species. As James Walker looked at the fallen alien ships, he knew that this was just the beginning. "They wanted to control us," he said to his team. "Instead, they taught us how to control them. Now, let's show them what else we can do with their technology." The war wasn't over, but humanity had proven something important. They weren't just fighting back. They were winning. 1 month after humanity's first victory, Dr. Reed made another discovery that would change everything. She stood in her lab, now filled with captured Dominion technology, and stared at her latest test results in amazement. "The nanotech is working," she told Commander Marcus, who had just entered the lab. "We can spread our neural resistance to other species. We can free their slaves." Marcus picked up the small vial of silvery liquid she had created. "You're sure about this?" "We tested it on the captured Dominion tech. It doesn't just block their control, it permanently prevents it." She pulled up a video on her screen. "Watch this." The video showed a piece of Dominion control technology trying to activate. The silvery liquid touched it, and the device instantly went dark. It wouldn't turn on again, no matter what they tried. But the Dominion wasn't finished yet. They had called their elite warriors, the best fighters from 1,000 conquered worlds. Massive warships appeared near Mars, more than Earth had ever seen before. "They're angry now," James Walker said to his resistance fighters, who had grown into a proper army. "Good. Angry enemies make mistakes." The elite Dominion forces attacked with everything they had. Their ships filled Earth's skies, their weapons more powerful than anything they'd used before. But humanity had been preparing. Dr. Reed's nanotech spread through Earth's atmosphere, protecting not just humans but their entire planet. When the Dominion tried to use their control devices, nothing happened. Their strongest weapons failed against the improved human defenses. Now, Marcus ordered through the global command network, launched the counterattack. Humanity had spent the last month building their own ships, combining Earth's technology with what they'd learned from the Dominion. These hybrid vessels rose from hidden bases around the world, taking the alien forces by surprise. The human ships were different from the Dominions. They were smaller, faster, and each one carried Dr. Reed's nanotech weapons. When they hit a Dominion ship, the nanotech spread through its systems, shutting down their control technology forever. In space, James led the first attack wing. His pilots had trained using the neural network, learning to fly their new ships faster than should have been possible. They moved like a single unit, overwhelming the larger Dominion vessels. "Their ships are bigger," James told his squadron. "That just makes them easier to hit." The Dominion elite fought hard, but they had never faced an enemy like this. Humans didn't just resist their control. They turned it against them. Every Dominion weapon that failed made humanity's defenses stronger. In her lab, Dr. Reed monitored the battle through their improved neural network. She noticed something strange in the data from the fighting Dominion ships. "Commander," she called Marcus, "I found their weakness. Their entire empire depends on their control technology. Without it, they're lost." Marcus smiled. It was time for the next phase. "Send the signal," he ordered. "Tell our ships to push past Mars. We're taking the fight to them." The human fleet, led by James and his pilots, broke through the Dominion lines. For the first time, Earth ships flew past Mars, chasing the retreating alien forces. "They're running," James reported back to Earth. "Should we follow?" "All the way to their home," Marcus replied. It's time they learned what it means to face a united humanity. On their retreating ships, the Dominion elite sent urgent messages to their leaders. They had expected to crush a primitive species. Instead, they had awakened something they couldn't control, couldn't defeat, and couldn't escape. Dr. Reed watched the battle data with satisfaction. "They tried to enslave us," she said quietly. "Instead, they showed us how strong we really are." The war was entering a new phase. Humanity wasn't just defending Earth anymore. They were taking the fight to Dominion space, and they were bringing freedom with them. The human fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel near a blue-green planet called Nexus by the Dominion. It was their first target for liberation, a world of peaceful beings who had been enslaved for 300 years. James Walker stood on the bridge of Earth's new flagship, the Freedom. Through the view screen, he could see thousands of Dominion ships guarding the planet. They had been expecting this attack. "Remember," Dr. Reed's voice came through the neural network from Earth. "The nanotech will free them, but they need to choose to fight back. We can't force them. We're not the Dominion." The battle began with a surprise. The human ships didn't attack the Dominion fleet directly. Instead, they launched millions of tiny pods toward the planet's atmosphere. "Release the nanotech," James ordered. The pods burst open, spreading Dr. Reed's silver mist across the planet's surface. The Dominion ships tried to stop it, but they were too late. The nanotech reached the enslaved population below. One by one, their control crystals stopped working. For the first time in centuries, the people of Nexus could think freely. On the planet's surface, a factory worker named Rex felt the Dominion's control vanish from his mind. He looked at his hands, then at the Dominion overseers who had controlled him his whole life. They seemed smaller now, less powerful. "We are free," he whispered. Then louder, "We are free." The cry spread across the planet. Millions of newly freed beings rose up against their former masters. The Dominion troops on the surface found themselves surrounded by angry former slaves. In space, the battle raged. The human fleet fought differently than the Dominion expected. Their ships moved in strange patterns, working together in ways the aliens couldn't predict. Earth's neural network let them coordinate perfectly. "The planet's defense systems are ours," Marcus reported from his command ship. "Their own weapons are turning against them." Rex led his people to the Dominion control centers. They knew these buildings well. They had been forced to work in them. Now they used that knowledge to shut them down. "Humanity sends you a message," Rex announced to his fellow freed people. "They offer alliance, not control. They ask for friends, not slaves." The Dominion fleet tried to bombard the surface, but Earth's ships created a protective shield around the planet. James watched as more and more Dominion ships either retreated or were destroyed. "Look at their ships," he told his crew. "They don't work together. They don't trust each other. That's why they'll lose." Dr. Reed's voice came through again. "The nanotech is spreading faster than we expected. The free people are helping it spread. Their knowledge of Dominion systems is invaluable." Within hours, the battle was over. The remaining Dominion ships fled, leaving behind their ground forces. The people of Nexus, with help from human troops, quickly captured them all. Rex stood with James in the planet's main control center. "How can we repay you?" he asked. "Join us," James replied. "Help us free others. Your people know the Dominion better than we do. Together, we can end their empire." The news spread across Dominion space. Earth had freed their first world. Their carefully built empire of slaves was starting to crumble. Worse, the freed peoples were joining humanity's cause. On Earth, Dr. Reed studied the data from Nexus. "Each species they enslaved has different strengths," she told Marcus. "Together with humanity's adaptability, we're becoming stronger than the Dominion ever was." The liberation of Nexus marked a turning point. The Dominion wasn't just fighting humans anymore. They were fighting every species they had ever wronged, led by the one race they had failed to enslave. "Send the message to all enslaved worlds," Marcus ordered. "Tell them, freedom is coming. Humanity is coming. The Dominion's days are numbered." 6 months after the liberation of Nexus, the Dominion Empire was falling apart. Their once mighty fleet now ran from world to world, trying to maintain control as their slaves revolted everywhere. Commander Marcus watched the galactic map in Earth's new Space Command Center. Hundreds of green dots showed freed worlds, while red dots marked the shrinking Dominion territory. "Show me the latest reports," he ordered. The screens lit up with images from across the galaxy. On every freed world, former slaves used Dr. Reed's nanotech to disable Dominion technology. The aliens' greatest weapon, their mind control, had become useless. "Another Dominion battle group has surrendered," James reported through the neural network. His fleet had grown massive, now including ships from 20 different freed species. Their commanders are begging for mercy. Dr. Reed worked with alien scientists in her expanded laboratory. "Each species brings new knowledge," she told Marcus over the comm. "The fish-like people from water worlds understand deep space tech. The crystal beings know energy systems. Together, we're taking apart everything the Dominion built." But the Dominion's leaders had disappeared. They abandoned their armies and fled to some hidden place in space. Marcus knew this was dangerous. Wounded animals fight hardest when cornered. Rex, now a commander in the Liberation Fleet, brought urgent news from deep in former Dominion space. Their slave masters are running to their secret fortress, but their slaves remember where it is. Every species they controlled knows a piece of the puzzle. James gathered these memories through the neural network. Former slaves shared what they had seen while building the Dominion's hidden base. Each memory was like a piece of a map, slowly revealing where the Empire's leaders were hiding. Their whole empire was built on lies, James said to his mixed crew of humans and freed aliens. They kept each slave species separate, thinking they were alone. Now we're all working together, and their secrets are falling apart. The Dominion tried one last desperate attack. They launched attacks on Earth, thinking that destroying humanity would end the rebellion. They were wrong. Freed worlds sent their ships to defend Earth. Species that had been enemies under Dominion control now fought side by side. The Dominion fleet found itself facing the combined strength of every world they had ever enslaved. They never understood, Dr. Reed said as she watched the battle from Earth. Humans didn't just resist control. We showed everyone else how to resist too. We gave them hope. The attack failed completely. The Dominion lost their last major fleet, and with it, any chance of keeping their empire together. Their remaining forces began surrendering in huge numbers. Marcus received a message from deep space. The freed slaves had found it, the hidden throne world of the Dominion, where their leaders were hiding. It was protected by powerful weapons and ancient technology. They think their fortress will save them, James told his fleet. But they forgot something important. Those walls, those weapons, their slaves built them all. And now those slaves are with us. Rex sent battle plans through the neural network. We maintained those defenses for centuries, he said. We know every weakness. The combined fleet of humanity and freed species gathered for one final battle. Ships of every size and shape formed up around Earth's vessels. The largest fleet ever seen in the galaxy prepared to end the Dominion once and for all. Send the message, Marcus ordered. Every screen in Dominion space lit up with the same words. You tried to make us slaves. You failed. Now face the justice of the free. The Dominion leaders, hiding in their fortress, watched their empire crumble. They had ruled 1,000 worlds through fear and control. Now those worlds were united against them, led by the one species that had shown them all how to break free. The final battle was about to begin. The Dominion's throne world hung in space like a metal star, surrounded by layers of defensive rings. Their leaders had hidden here, thinking their strongest fortress would protect them. They were wrong. All ships in position, James reported from the Freedom. The combined fleet of humans and freed species stretched as far as the eye could see. Ships of every size and shape, crewed by beings from 1,000 worlds, all united for this final battle. Dr. Reed's voice came through the neural network. The nanotech is ready. This version is stronger than ever, powered by the combined knowledge of every species they enslaved. Commander Marcus gave the order that would end the war. Begin the attack. The battle started with a trick the Dominion never expected. Their defensive rings, built by slave labor over centuries, received a simple command from their former maintenance workers: shut down. The outer defenses are blind, Rex announced from his ship. Just like we promised. They trusted slaves to build everything, never thinking we'd remember how to turn it off. The Dominion leaders watched in horror as their perfect defenses went dark. They launched their reserve fleet, but it was too late. The combined forces of the free worlds were already moving in. James led the first wave. Human ships moved in perfect coordination with their alien allies. The neural network let them fight as one, sharing thoughts and strategies instantly across the vast battlefield. Their ships are trapped, James called out. Release the nanotech. Silver clouds spread through space, carried by specially designed vessels from water worlds. The Dominion's weapons started failing as the improved nanotech infected their systems. Inside their fortress, the Dominion leaders finally showed their true faces. They were smaller than anyone expected, withered creatures who had hidden behind technology and control for so long they'd forgotten how to be strong. Surrender, Marcus's voice boomed through every channel. Your empire is finished. The Dominion leaders tried one last desperate move. They activated their doomsday weapon, designed to destroy their own fortress and everyone attacking it. But even this failed. Did you forget? Rex asked through the communication channels. Your slaves built that weapon too. We made sure it would never work. Dr. Reed watched from Earth as the battle turned into a victory. Their whole empire was built on the work of others, she said. Once those others turned against them, they had nothing left. The fortress's doors opened. The Dominion leaders emerged, surrendering to the combined fleet. They looked at their former slaves, now free and strong, and finally understood their mistake. We ruled 1,000 worlds, their head leader said. How did this happen? James walked up to them, followed by representatives from every freed species. You tried to enslave humanity, he said, but we showed everyone that freedom is stronger than control. You never had a chance. The war was over. The combined fleet escorted the Dominion leaders to Earth for trial. They would face justice from every world they had enslaved, with humanity ensuring fair treatment, something the Dominion had never offered their victims. Marcus stood in the United Nations Hall 3 days later, addressing representatives from across the galaxy. Today marks a new beginning, he said. The Dominion sought to rule through control and fear. Let us build something better. An alliance of free worlds, working together by choice. Dr. Reed's nanotech was reprogrammed, now used to protect worlds from any future attempts at control. The neural network evolved into a galaxy-wide communication system, letting free species share knowledge and culture. Rex spoke for many when he addressed the first meeting of the new Galactic Council. The Dominion thought slavery made them strong. Humanity showed us that true strength comes from freedom. They tried to make humanity their slaves. Instead, humanity made us all free. The former Dominion leaders watched from their prison as their empire transformed into something new and better. They had tried to control the galaxy and failed. In the end, the species they had thought too primitive to rule themselves had created a civilization far greater than the Dominion had ever been. Humanity had not just won a war, they had changed the galaxy forever.